My digital agency has basically zero client churn because we have perfected our onboarding strategy and we have an amazing understanding of what it actually takes to keep clients happy. And in this video, I am going to show you the exact framework that we use to onboard clients and keep them as clients for as long as possible. This framework consists of three parts. We have the pre-onboarding checklist, we have the onboarding or the strategy call, and lastly, the nurturing after the onboarding call. I'll start with the pre-onboarding checklist, setting the right expectations, because this is the most crucial part of the process. If your new client goes into this process with the wrong expectations, not understanding exactly how it is going to work, they are much more likely to churn within the first 2 or 3 months. So make sure that you get this right. First of all, the first thing you do once you get a yes from the client to work with you, no matter if it's on a call, on a phone call, on an email, the first thing you always do is that you create a Slack channel. You want them to commit to having this line of communication with you, and you want to be able to send them messages quickly and get responses back quickly. So what you do is that, as I said, you make a Slack channel and you send them a welcome message. This welcome message should give them clarity on the upcoming process, how the onboarding is going to work, what will happen after the onboarding. You have to give them a quick team introduction and send over a tally form. This tally form is something that is proprietary to our agency. I've never seen any other agencies use it. It is basically just a questionnaire that asks all the questions that you need to know about the client, their KPIs, their AOV, LTV, their numbers, what their expectations are, what kind of sales they're planning on running, how they have been running ads previously. Basically, your goal with this tally form is to download their entire brain and have a clear picture of what is working, what is not working, what their expectations are. Of course, later on throughout the process, we will be asking more questions, but this is an amazing fundamental to have going into the onboarding process. If you want access to my tally form and this entire framework and all of the other links that I will be sharing throughout the video, send me a message on Instagram and I will give you a care package with all the links. Should look something like this. Super simple. Hey client, welcome to the agency. Here are the next steps. Here is the link to the tally. Ask them to fill it out as quickly as possible. Then the goal is to set time-based expectations. So once you begin communicating with the client and before you book in the onboarding call, you have to set time-based expectations for what they have to expect when. This comes in 3 stages. The first is when the onboarding will be complete, then when the first changes will be done, and the third, when they will see the first results. So this is approximately what we say at my agency. After the onboarding, the first changes will be done after 10 days, and then they will see results after 2 weeks. Of course, make this fit your actual timelines and how you actually work with clients. But now you at least have the main framework to follow. Then set results-based expectations. And again, 3 parts to this one. First of all, what kind of immediate results they will see, then give them a 1-month projection, and then give them a 6-month projection. This 6-month projection is also a golden nugget that I've never seen any other agencies use, but I'll get to that later. First of all, immediate results. So when you onboard clients, you should always immediately implement some low-hanging fruits that take little effort, but that give them an immediate result, to give them a quick win, to make sure that they feel that the partnership is worth it and that they chose the correct partner. So for example, in paid ads, we always go into the account and do some immediate changes that we see will improve the results. And immediately within like a day, we boost the ROAS slightly and they're already impressed by the results. So always before you begin doing any analyses or any preliminary work, do some quick low-hanging fruits to, as I said, generate some quick wins. Then do a 1-month projection just to give them some clarity on what kind of results they can expect within 1 month. And lastly, give them a 6-month projection. And you should especially give this if your contract is less than 6 months with this client. Let me explain. By having a 6-month projection and pre-framing the entire partnership as taking at least 6 months, they are much more likely to stick with you for 6 months and beyond, even if they have a 3-month contract, because then you can say you will see these kinds of results by the 6th month. And then when they come to the 3rd month and they have to either renew the contract or cancel with you, they are, as I said, much more likely to renew because they still have this time frame that they are looking forward to. So always set 6-month projections when starting the partnership. This is an easy retention tip that, as I said, no other agencies are using, so use it wisely. And next we are going to be doing some authority building and adding some social proof. Even though they've said yes, and even though they've maybe signed the contract already, you should never stop selling yourself to the client, because at any point they can look at other agencies. So you have to keep selling yourself to the agency in month 1, month 2, month 10, month 20, even if you work with them for 5 years, still every single day, every single week, every single month, you still have to keep selling yourself to the client. Reaffirm that they made the correct choice. This can be done 2 ways. You can either share some case studies or you can share your reviews. So case studies, we have an entire page on my agency's website, for example. So we just randomly send them a case study every other day, every 3rd day, saying like, hey, this looks relevant for you guys. We just generated these amazing results for this company. Check it out. And also, of course, the reviews. So here are some reviews from our Google page. We also have direct quotes from other partners saying, hey, we just did this for this client. Look at how happy they are. Look forward to getting this up for you guys as well, which makes them super excited for the partnership because they get all of this social proof. And lastly, what you have to understand is that an excited client is the best type of client. They are least likely to ask difficult questions and jump to conclusions. And how do you get them excited? Well, by sending case studies and reviews, but also by sending your podcast appearances and your valuable posts. So if you are following any of my other frameworks for example, building your LinkedIn page, you probably already have quite a few LinkedIn posts with some value that you could send them. So again, just say, hey, just wrote this LinkedIn post, would be relevant for you guys to read, send it over. And if they then see that you have 100, 200, 300 likes with tons of comments, tons of people they already know commenting on the post, that is boosting your status in their eyes dramatically, and also podcast appearances. So me and my co-founder, we have been on a couple of podcasts. My co-founder has been on some of Norway's biggest podcasts. So that could also be something that you share. Hey, just did this podcast appearance, talked about some relevant topics. Check it out if you'd like. Next, we have the prep for the actual onboarding call. So this is all preliminary work that we have to get done before we actually begin doing the onboarding. This shouldn't take more than a couple of days. The onboarding call should be super quickly after they actually say yes to working with you. But point is, we want to pre-frame the onboarding and we want to pre-frame ourselves to make it as likely as possible that they will stay for 12, 18, 24 months with us. And then, as I said, lastly, we have to actually prep for the onboarding call. So this is super simple. Just explain what the process will look like. We will start with a strategy and access call. Then we will be doing our preliminary work. Then we will put together a strategy. Then we will do the first changes. And then you will see the desired results. And again, with the amount of days that it will take between each step. This is approximately what it looks like at my agency. Perfect. This is the most important step of the process done. If you nail this, you can fuck up the rest of the onboarding process, but they have so much trust in you and they are so excited to work with you that they will be okay with it, and they will begin making excuses for themselves, even if they find the partnership, as I said, kind of weird going forward. But we want to nail that part as well. So let's get into the actual onboarding call. The goal here is to get all the information access you need to deliver your service. So once you jump on the onboarding call, this should be a 45-minute call. You start with a clear introduction, and again, giving some clarity on the process. Keep reaffirming what is going to be happening next so that they always know exactly what the next step is, and then set the tone and make sure that they understand that you are the boss. So you are the one who is supposed to be asking questions, and you are the one who is supposed to be leading the conversation. So you have to have a preset agenda that you will be following. Send that agenda to the client before the call and actually follow through on the agenda. And if you feel that the client is beginning to take lead and kind of begins pivoting the conversation, go back to the agenda saying, hey, we have this agenda, we have to keep following it. And they will, in 99.9% of cases, be completely okay with that. So as I said, just make sure that they understand that you are the boss and that you are leading the conversation. Then present the strategy. So To get a strategy, you have to ask questions to understand their goals, their wishes, and their requirements. And before the call, make sure that you prepare your high-level initial strategy, just so that they again have some clarity on what you will be doing. You don't have to be super specific in the strategy. It is just a general one. Like, let's say you are running paid ads for this car rental company. You say, we will be expanding into this market, we will be expanding into this market, we will be launching this campaign type. Just some general pointers. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. This one is malleable and adaptable in the coming weeks anyways. Just give them some certainty in the next steps. And as I said, throughout the call, understand their goals, their wishes, and their requirements, and on the fly, adjust your strategy to those goals, wishes, and requirements. This may sound a bit complex and a bit difficult, but you will get the hang of it after a couple of onboarding calls. The goal here is to make them feel that you already have an amazing understanding of their business, because imagine they jump on the first onboarding call and you begin asking questions, and then you present a strategy that is exactly aligned with their answers. It will make them feel like you have done your homework and that you are, again, the best partner. So again, this takes some practice, but you will get it. It's not a difficult thing to do. And then set the 6-month roadmap. So the 6-month roadmap should include the expectations for the partnership, what kind of results will be generated, what the timeline looks like, and also just the work that will be done. So explain the deliverables that will be done in the 6th month. So let's say first month we expand into this market, then second month we will introduce these campaign types, then third we will begin launching landing pages for new audiences and new interests. You get the point, an overall strategy for what will be done each month. And also before the call, this high-level strategy, and just to give you some pointers for what it should include the technical process. So what exactly you will be doing in the account, as I said, like launching new campaigns, for example. And the second is milestones and deliverables. What kind of milestones you're looking at. So within 2 weeks, we will be seeing these kinds of results. And then the deliverables, actually what you will do. So within the first week, we will do this, this, and this, whatever your service is. That rhymed. Then we have the technical aspect. So once you're done with the introduction and the strategy, we have to make sure that the technical aspect is all ready to go. So first of all, make sure that they have signed the contract. If they haven't, go through the contract with them on this call and get them to sign it. And then make sure that you have access to everything that you need access to. So that is, for example, the platforms and the media library. This is what the access checklist looks like at our agency. We need to get access to Meta, Snapchat, TikTok, Google Tag Manager, Shopify, Google Analytics, their CRM, their attribution platform. Just think through this, make sure that you have everything that you need to work with the client, and make sure that it's all given on this call, so that when you jump off, you are ready to do your job and you don't have to keep coming back to the client like, hey, give me this access, give me that access, tell me this information. Everything should be in this onboarding call, plus also the tally that we sent earlier. Lastly, the nurturing. So now we have set the expectations, we have actually conducted the onboarding call, we have gotten all the information that we need. Lastly, we need to keep nurturing the client, because the first 7 days of the partnership are the most crucial 7 days of the partnership. And as it, if you mess this up, you are very, very likely to churn the client. And a nice way to keep them excited and to keep them happy is to keep nurturing them for 7 days after the onboarding call. So first thing you can do is to just share quick wins. And the goal here is to just make them feel that stuff is happening. You want them to feel a certainty in the fact that you are putting in work, because we are working on performance and we are working based on results, but humans are irrational beings. And if they don't see a progress being made, even if results are being generated, they are still unhappy. So just send quick wins, which could be low-hanging fruits. For example, hey, we found this old campaign type in your account. We will turn that off. That will give us an immediate 20% boost in ROAS. For example, whatever, give them some quick low-hanging fruits that you find. Then when you do your preliminary work, make sure to share that with them. So at my agency, we do different kinds of analyses before we launch the ads. So we do a product analysis, we do a market analysis, and a competitors analysis. So we make sure to share those analyses with the client when they are done. And lastly, just the preliminary work. So if you are doing any kind of access work, any kind of tag manager setup, tracking setup, stuff like that, share that with the client. Ideally, the first 7 days, you should be sending 2 to 3 updates every single day of stuff happening. So this is an example of a quick win that I share with all new clients. I just mentioned that we have a rockstar graphic designer and I share his best work. So if they click on that, they're like, damn, these guys know what they're doing. They have an amazing graphic designer on board, because we do. So I share that and it makes them feel that stuff is happening. Next, we send daily updates. So the daily updates should be by Slack, because we set up a Slack channel in the first step. And this should be sent every day in the first week. So here's an example of a daily update that I sent to one of our clients recently, just updating him, hey, handover call has been booked. We're working on getting strategy finished. We're looking into blot out. After the call with this person, we're ready to go. Just some screenshots of the strategy being developed. And this goes a long way, as I said, for keeping the client happy. And lastly, we also send weekly looms. So every single Friday, I record a loom for our new clients. So within the first month, we always send weekly looms, as I said, every single Friday. And in this loom, we go over the status, we go over the plan, and we go over the needs. So status, what has been done, and just some quick wins from that week. That can be just an aggregation of the other wins that you have sent. Then we present a plan, what is going to be happening in the next week. And lastly, needs. So if there is something you need from the client, which ideally shouldn't be anything because you got everything you needed on the onboarding call, but still, if there's something you need from them, bring that up on the weekly loom, and just other sources. So if you are, for example, waiting for some tracking guide to set up the tracking, just let them know hey, we are still waiting on this thing. It's not in our hands, but we will get it done with him as quickly as possible, for example. And just looks like this, super simple Notion page. I go through it, takes me 4 or 5 minutes to explain it, and I send it over to the client. So this is the entire onboarding process that allowed me to scale my agency to 75K a month and basically reduce our client churn to 0, which is an amazing feeling that we don't have to worry about clients churning, and we can just keep adding MRR every single month. If you are a digital agency owner and you are stuck between 0 to 8K a month, I am opening up 3 slots to work with me personally, one-on-one, to implement every single framework that I used in my own agency to scale to 75K a month. So if that sounds interesting, reach out to me on Instagram. Let's talk about it. I hope this video was valuable. As I said, if you want access to all of the resources that I was talking about in this video, drop me a DM on Instagram. I'll send you a care package. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you at the top.